Finally, the United Africa Passport, also called the United States of Africa Passport, has been unveiled by President Ibrahim Traoré. In this video, we explore how powerful this passport is. Watch until the end. No one has ever seen a passport like this. It's not just a travel document. It's a symbol of power, a badge of dignity, and a ticket to a new world order. Backed by the gold, diamonds, cobalt, and oil of Africa, the newly launched United Africa Passport, also called the United States of Africa Passport, is now the most talked about document on the planet. From Wall Street to Pyongyang, this passport has shaken diplomatic tables and forced nations to rethink global alliances. And now it's official. Every country in the world, even North Korea, has accepted the United Africa Passport for visa-free entry. Let that sink in. Even North Korea, a nation known for extreme isolation and rigid visa policies, has opened its gates for Africans carrying this document. And it happened because of one unbelievable meeting between President Ibrahim Traoré and Kim Jong-un. But first, let's understand why this passport is unlike anything the world has ever seen. This is not just about traveling freely. It's about restoring the dignity of Black people everywhere. It's about unity, pride, and opportunity. And above all, it's about Africa finally taking its place on the global stage. Not as a begging continent, but as a superpower with borders, currency, and voice. The passport offers something no other document does. Visa-free access to all African countries. Automatic residency pathways across the continent. Free movement for work, education, and trade. And now visa-free access to the rest of the world, including China, Russia, India, Brazil, Indonesia, and shockingly the United States. But the most unexpected chapter began in North Korea. The meeting between TR and Kim Jong-un was supposed to be secret. Instead, it became historic. The world didn't believe it when the news broke. North Korea accepts United Africa Passport for visa-free entry. Many dismissed it as a rumor, a hoax. But then North Korean state TV broadcast the footage. President Kim Jong-un and Captain Ibrahim Traoré side by side standing in front of the North Korean flag holding a dark green passport embossed with the golden emblem of United States of Africa. The world gasped. The footage showed Kim Jong-un wiping away tears. What could possibly make one of the world's most isolated and feared leaders cry? Here's what really happened. In a high-security hall deep within Pyongyang, Traoré sat face-to-face with Kim. No entourage, no diplomats, just two men, both leaders of nations that have long been underestimated by the West. Traoré opened a brown folder and placed 3 items on the table. A photograph of Congolese children digging cobalt with bare hands. A satellite map of Africa's mineral wealth. The first printed copy of the United Africa Passport. Then he said, "Our people have bled enough. Our lands have fed the world. Yet we eat last. This passport is not just paper. It's justice." Kim didn't respond immediately. Traoré continued. "You know what it means to be isolated, sanctioned, punished for defending sovereignty. Africa is in that struggle. But unlike the past, we're no longer divided. This passport is backed by Africa's wealth. Gold, uranium, diamonds, cobalt, oil. We will not beg for entry. We invite the world to recognize our unity." Kim stared at the passport. Then he asked one question. Will Africans respect themselves enough to protect this document? Traoré nodded. This is not a passport for tourists. It is a passport for liberation. Every African who carries it will know the weight of history. That's when Kim broke down. He reportedly whispered, "I see now. You are not building a new Africa. You are waking up the world's sleeping giant." And with that, the deal was sealed. North Korea became the first Asian country to sign the global visa-free accord with the United States of Africa. Other countries previously hesitant immediately followed. Indonesia, Vietnam, Pakistan, even Cuba and Venezuela. And silently, even a few EU nations began discreet talks. But the move sparked backlash too. As the news spread that North Korea, Cuba, and several Asian and Latin American countries had officially accepted the United Africa Passport for visa-free travel, something began to shift in international circles. Inside secret meetings at the European Union headquarters and US State Department, diplomats were scrambling. One EU official caught off mic was heard saying, "This isn't just a passport. This is a message. They're shutting us out." Though no Western government made public complaints at first, internal memos leaked accusing President Ibrahim Traoré of building an exclusive race-based travel system, claiming it went against global inclusivity. And then came the headline, "Is the United Africa Passport racist?" London Herald. It caused outrage across Africa and the Caribbean. Online, Africans from Ghana to Jamaica responded furiously. Where were these same critics when Africans needed visas for every country? Now that we finally have something for us, it's a problem. But Tro didn't remain silent. Standing in front of the Monument of African Unity in Ouagadougou, he delivered a short but fiery speech. Streamed live across 42 countries. With his voice calm but firm, he said, "When Africans were enslaved, no one complained about exclusion. When we were denied visas, rejected at airports, humiliated, no one wrote editorials. Now, because we finally own something for ourselves, we are suddenly a threat." The crowd roared, "This passport is not a weapon. It is a shield. It is protection for the African soul, the African dream. And let me be clear, it is not racist. It is revolutionary." The speech went viral in hours. Over 300 million views across TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. Even in cities like Paris, Washington, and Berlin, young black communities organized solidarity marches. At the heart of it all was a simple message. We are not begging for entry. We are building our own door. This time, it wasn't just Africa responding. African Americans, Afro-Brazilians, Haitians, Trinidadians, and people across the Caribbean posted videos proudly saying, "I am African. I claim my passport." Even some white and Asian allies stood in support, recognizing that this was more than travel. It was redemption. But the sudden popularity of the passport brought a new crisis. What started as a powerful symbol of African pride was now turning into a logistical nightmare. After President Ibrahim Traoré's viral speech defending the United Africa Passport, the world took notice, and so did the African people. From Atlanta to Accra, from Port-au-Prince to Cape Town, millions lined up virtually and physically to begin their applications. The Burkina Faso immigration servers crashed within hours of opening the portal. Some applicants waited 15 hours online only for the page to freeze just before submission. In less than 10 days, over 11 million applications had been submitted from more than 62 countries. Families flew in from Jamaica, Barbados, St. Lucia, and Dominica. Thousands of Afrikaners booked urgent flights to Ouagadougou just to get in line, sleeping outside embassy gates with backpacks and printed documents. "I've never seen anything like it," said a passport officer. "In Ouagadougou, there are grandmothers here who sold everything to make this trip." The first United Africa passport had just been printed days ago. Now the system was being crushed under its own success. President Traoré had promised that the passport would only go to people who could prove African ancestry or cultural ties to the continent. But many applicants, especially from Caribbean nations and African American communities, did not have official birth records or family documents. Centuries of slavery and displacement had erased their paper trails. To make matters worse, rumors began to spread. False brokers started charging hundreds of dollars for fast-track approvals. Some even forged DNA results. Traoré had to act. On the night of August 28, Traoré appeared live again. Dressed simply, he looked visibly tired but resolute. "To all my brothers and sisters across the black world, I hear you. I see you. We built this passport for you. Not just for Africans on the continent, but for the children stolen from her shores. But we must be careful. We must protect what we're building." He announced 3 urgent changes. Temporary suspension of all new applications for 21 days. DNA verification units to be set up in embassies across 25 cities. A new heritage claim form allowing people to explain their ancestral ties in writing or video if no documents exist. Your pain has a voice. Your identity matters. We will not deny you because your ancestors were denied. The announcement was met with mixed emotions. Some cried in frustration, especially those who had just arrived in Burkina Faso, but others applauded the move. Online, We Are Africa trended again. This time with videos of people helping each other fill out forms, narrating family stories, or posting photos of grandparents with the caption, "Proof enough." Even celebrities joined in. Afro-Caribbean singers, African-American activists, and Pan-African leaders encouraged patience. But Traoré wasn't finished. He ended his address with a powerful reminder. This passport is not just a travel document. It is proof that we remember. It is proof that we are one. While the world was still trying to grasp the full impact of the United Africa Passport, President Ibrahim Traoré was already working on the next chapter of the African Revolution. August 31, 2025, less than a month after the passport launch. Traoré landed in Dar es Salaam to hold emergency talks with regional leaders. His goal was to lay the foundation for the United Border Security Pact, a plan to remove internal African borders and unify the continent under one system. The leaders of Nigeria, Senegal, Mali, Chad, Ghana, Togo, and Guinea attended the closed-door meeting. Inside the summit, Traoré reportedly delivered a 2-hour speech that left even veteran diplomats stunned. According to sources who were present, Traoré said, "This passport means nothing if we still have fences between brothers. We do not need borders between Burkina Faso and Benin. Between Ghana and Togo, we are one nation in Africa." He proposed a phased roll-out of border elimination, starting with free movement of citizens with the United Africa Passport within 27 African countries, unified border patrol and digital ID system, shared intelligence to protect against external sabotage and trafficking. He called it One Border, One Africa. Traoré didn't just talk policy. He spoke from the heart. He reminded the leaders of what Africa had lost. Not just land and wealth, but time, trust, and unity. We were once 3,000 tribes. Today we are 54 countries divided by European rulers who are long dead. We are still paying for borders that were drawn with blood. But no more, he paused, looking directly into the cameras broadcasting across Africa. We will not raise our children to hate their neighbor because of a border created in Berlin. In 1884, tears flowed in the audience. Even hardened journalists said they had never seen such raw emotion in a presidential address. Meanwhile, in the West, the reactions were growing colder by the day. A British newspaper called the United Africa Passport a diplomatic nightmare. A French analyst claimed Traoré is creating a continent we can't control. A leaked U.S. State Department cable said the African passport must be monitored. It may inspire similar moves in Latin America or Asia. Most shocking of all, in a closed G7 meeting, an unnamed European leader reportedly asked, "Can we make the African passport conditional? Should we pressure African nations to make it inclusive to avoid accusations of reverse racism?" This sparked outrage online, with millions accusing Western powers of hypocrisy. One viral tweet summed it up. "They took everything from us. Now they want to take even the little unity we build for ourselves." At a press conference in Abuja, Traoré responded boldly. "No, we will not apologize for standing together. No, we will not dilute our vision to make the comfortable feel safer. The African passport is for Africans. We are not excluding the world. We are finally including ourselves." He added, "Africa has 60% of the world's arable land. We have the gold, the lithium, the cobalt, the youth, and the sun. If shared fairly, Africa would be the richest country in the world, and now we will protect it." Just when the world thought the United Africa Passport couldn't go any further, President Ibrahim Traoré made an announcement that stunned even his closest allies. On September 15, 2025, during a televised press briefing from Ouagadougou, Traoré stood before a giant screen displaying the logos of over 20 African countries. Behind him was a banner that read, "From the soil to the stars, Africa United." He cleared his throat and said, "Today, we officially welcome the African Space Research Bureau as a full partner of the United Africa Passport." The crowd went silent. For a moment, many didn't understand the gravity of what he had just said. Then he explained. Traoré revealed that Burkina Faso, Nigeria, Egypt, Algeria, South Africa, Ethiopia, and Ghana had formed a new Pan-African Space Alliance, and it would adopt the United Africa Passport as its official ID system. Scientists, engineers, astronauts, and researchers across the continent would now travel using the same black and gold biometric passport, a symbol of African excellence, sovereignty, and innovation. He added, "We will launch satellites, rockets, and data missions that serve Africans first. No more begging for internet access. Weather tracking, or GPS. Africa will orbit above just as it rises below." Then came the twist. Traoré introduced the first official United Africa passport holder to train for space. Dr. Wura Kebe, a Senegalese-born astrophysicist raised in Burkina Faso. Wura stood proudly holding her passport as Traoré said, "This is not just a document. This is our visa to the stars." She wiped tears as she spoke. "My grandmother couldn't go to school. I will go to space as an African." The crowd erupted in cheers. Major world media rushed to cover the moment. CNN called it Africa's moonshot moment. Al Jazeera said it was a new space race with roots in black liberation. A viral TikTok in Brazil titled "Africa is doing what no one expected" gained 22 million views. But not all reactions were positive. A leaked intelligence memo from a European security agency stated, "If Africa controls both its borders and its satellites, we lose influence." Another Western diplomat reportedly said, "The United Africa passport is no longer just symbolic. It's geopolitical. It's strategic. It's dangerous." TR responded once again in the most dignified way. "We are not dangerous. We are determined. We will not ask permission to rise." Before closing the conference, Traoré looked directly into the camera and gave a heartfelt message to the diaspora. "To our brothers and sisters in Haiti, Jamaica, Trinidad, Brazil, and America, this passport is your return ticket. Not to a place, but to a people. We are one. And we've waited long enough." He ended with a message that would soon be printed on the back of every new passport. One Africa, one passport, one destiny. The United Africa passport is no longer just a travel document. It is now a symbol of something bigger. A global awakening, a new chapter in Black history, and the beginning of the most powerful union the world has ever seen.